Hello and welcome to this video on making a Thai curry paste. It's a video that I'm making because I forgot to press record when we did a Zoom chat, a Zoom workshop on it. So this is going to be a sort of pared back version, but we'll have all the relevant information that you need. The first thing I've done is put the rice on. I am using brown rice, and that's going to take a little bit longer than white rice. So I put a little bit of salt in there. I'm just covering just a little bit under 1 part rice to 2 parts water. So I'm just covering the rice with the water there. I'm going to put that on the pan, put the lid on, leave it to cover, stir it at the start, stir it at the end, but other than that leave it alone. I'll be listening for that to cook through. And once it starts to boil, I'll turn the heat down a little. So I'm going to make the paste, and I generally make my paste in a pestle and mortar. Every kitchen needs a pestle and mortar, especially if you want to make good curries, and especially like Thai style things, because the pestle and mortar really bashes the ingredients nice and brings out all the flavours of each individual one. Today, just because it takes quite a while to get the right paste, the right consistency, today I'll probably start off in the pestle and mortar but finish it off in the blender, but I'll show you that in a little bit. First thing I need is a couple of shallots. Shallots are the more authentic version of onion that you'll find in this type of cooking. However, red onions or even white onions will do just as well, just that shallots have a little bit more of a sweetness to them. So I'll chop those up a little bit fine first of all, and then add them into the pestle and mortar. Now I'm going to do the same with the lemongrass. What I tend to do when I'm making these pastes is, so top and tail of the lemongrass, is this one, chop it up nice and small, because this is quite a fibrous and difficult thing to really crush down. It takes some time and effort, but the effort is worth it. So I'll put that into the pestle and mortar as well. So I'm just at the minute, just got 2 dry ingredients, the onion and the lemongrass. Finally, I'm going to add a chilli. I'm just using 1 for now because these are quite spicy chilies. Chilies are something that you've got to add to your own, your own tolerances, your own flavours and tastes and what you like. So I'll add all that into the pestle and mortar, and then just bash them down until I get a nice consistent paste. This is the body of the paste. So right now we have 2 shallots, 1 chilli, 1 stick of lemongrass. Now I've decided to transfer it all to the blender just for speed really. Usually if I'm making a paste, I'll do it either the day before or certainly in the morning before I want to use it, because that'll let the flavours all infuse. So this is just what was in before. So we've got 2 shallots, a chilli, some lemongrass. I'm going to add a little bit of creamed coconut into the mix as well. Sorry, the camera's struggling to focus a little bit, but you get the idea with that. So some creamed coconut. Just going to chop that up a little bit so it's a bit easier on the blender. And just opening a new packet of creamed coconut as well. So I'm using this particular brand here. They're all about the same really. Once you've got a creamed coconut, you're not really going to go too wrong. What you find is in a new packet, up in the top here, there's usually a bit of oil that's come to the top and separated. Use that. Just use that to fry your veg in later. Easiest way to open it, get a nice sharp knife, cut through. Watching your thumbs and your fingers, just cut through. What I've added into the paste is more than enough for this purpose. But what I'll also do with this is I'll get my mug and I'm going to put some of this creamed coconut into the mug. Now this is a really versatile way of having coconut because you can make a milk out of it, you can make cream out of it, you can use it for a topper on salads. It's really, really good stuff. And then what I'm going to do is just add some boiling water into that, and that'll dissolve through. And what I'm also going to add to that is some lime leaf. This is dehydrated, so if I add it into the water there, it will rehydrate itself and I can add that to the curry later. Stir it through, and then later on I'll check the consistency, but I'm just going to put that to one side now, so that's working its way through while we're carrying on with the paste. Also, my rice is boiling. My rice is just boiling there, so I've turned the heat down a little bit on the rice. I've come back to the pestle and mortar now, just because you get a much more finer paste. I find with these, especially with these hand blenders, they often leave things a little bit grainy. So I use the pestle and mortar wherever possible. It's not a bad thing to start changing between the two, because this guy will do, the pestle and mortar is going to do, sorry, not the pestle and mortar, the blender there, that's going to do quite a lot of the legwork for you. But get the nice consistency in the end, I always use this. Now I've added another lime as well because it didn't quite have that lime flavour quite enough as what I would like. But so now this is the secret to good Thai. If you learn nothing else, then learn this. And I'm even going to speak into the camera with this one because this is the most important point. So the secret to good Thai is balancing 4 main flavours. And those 4 flavours are salt. And you get that from your tamari or your soy sauce. Sour. You get that from your lime. Or you can add rice vinegar, or any other kind of vinegar works as well. I would say more like a cider vinegar would be better because you get that sort of sourness to it. Then your sugar, which is your brown sugar, and finally your spice, which comes from the chili and or the ginger, but also you can get this stuff here. This is Thai seasoning. So that's also a nice quick method that you can use, and you always want to put a bit of coconut in there as well, because coconut's a major staple of Thai cooking. So those are, just to recap, those 4 main elements: salt, spice, sugar, sour. Okay, get the balance of those. You've got to always taste it. If you're not quite getting one of those 4 main flavour ingredients, you need to add it. So if it's not salty enough, add some more soy. If it's not sweet enough, add sugar. If it's too sweet, you can add some more salt, and that'll balance the sweetness down a little bit. The one thing that I think you need to be more wary of is the spice. Bring the spice up until it's a level that you're tolerant with, because once you've added it, it's really difficult to take it away. But the other ones you can pretty much get away with. So you can add sugar to get away from the sour and or the salt. But you keep want to taste it. So that's the key ingredient: salt, sour, spice, sweet. Balance them, you're on your way. The rice is now cooked. Well, it's boiled all the water off. So what I've done now is I've turned the heat off the hob, so there's no heat on there. But I'm just going to keep the lid on and let that steam through, and that'll help it to cook, keep on cooking through. If you want to test if the water level is right in your rice, don't stir it around. What you can do is just move your fork across and just see if there's any water. Of course, all the water's down in the bottom of the pan because I'm tilting it, but if you lay it flat and do that, you can see, and I can actually see that there is just still a tiny bit of water in there. But that should hopefully steam off, and if it's not all gone by the end, that'll not matter. I can drain the rice out, or I can just boil it off back on the hob. Since I'm here as well, I'll just check the coconut. Let's check that that's dissolving, and it is dissolving quite well. It's almost there. Possibly a little thinner than I would like, so I might add a little bit more of the creamed coconut in there just to thicken that up a tad. Now I'm going to add a new ingredient on me. This is the first time I've ever used this. It's a vegetarian fish sauce which was donated by one of the wonderful volunteers at the community fridge. Every volunteer at the community fridge is absolutely wonderful, but this one in particular, because she gave me some of this as a thank you for running the workshop before. So thank you very much for that. Usually Thai has fish sauce in it, so often it isn't vegan or vegetarian. I have heard that you can use an olive and crush the olive up in there, and that gives you a sort of like sweet, salty kind of fishy kind of flavour. I have tried that. I must admit it didn't really do too much to me. Didn't make it too amazing, or it didn't make it worse, but didn't actually add it. So I don't think it necessarily needs it. Now, because I've not used this before, I don't really know how much to use, so I'm going to err on the side of caution. I'm going to use probably about half a teaspoon, it's probably a little more than a half a teaspoon there, but I'll add that in and just stir that through. You can see we're getting a nice sort of pasty consistency to that now. Okay, I'm going to taste that and see what I think. Wow, bit of salt coming through there. Nice and spicy. I think one chilli is plenty for this one. I'm not going to add another. Get the lime at the end as well, so that's really nice. So I've got the salt, I've got the sugar at the start there, I've got the spice, I've got the sweet as well. So we're pretty much there with that now. Now this paste, once you've made it, that'll freeze up nice and easy. I've got one in the freezer already. It's always good to have a few in stock. It'll stay in the fridge for a couple of days, no problem. But it's also very good to eat now. So like I say, I generally like to make it the day before, or at least the morning of the day of the curry. That just lets the flavours infuse a little bit, and it sort of spreads the flavour right the way through the dish a lot better. So what I'm going to do now is start prepping the veg. So pretty much any veg goes with it. I generally like to have carrots, and I like to have broccoli in it. But basically anything that I've got in the fridge, pretty much anything goes. It's entirely up to you. So we'll get onto that now. Here's the selection of veg that I'm using. I've laid them out on the chopping board in the order that I'm going to use them from left to right. So I always put the carrots on, and broccoli maybe a bit later, but I put the onion, I've got mushroom and carrot, because they're the hardest of the vegetables. I want the onion to start releasing its flavours and its sugars early. The mushrooms will release the moisture, and then that will allow, when the moisture boils off, that will allow them to soak up more of the flavour. So put your mushrooms in nice and early. And then I will go into the peppers, and I've got a courgette here, last of the courgette, and then some cabbage here as well. Like I said before, add anything you like to in this one. It's entirely up to you. So I've got the frying pan on now, and I'm going to let that heat up nice and hot. I want it really hot for this. So ideally you want an oil that's going to withstand a nice hot heat. Whenever I'm doing stir fries, I tend to use sesame oil. That allows you to get a really hot heat. The sesame oil really takes a good temperature. You can also use rapeseed oil if you want to keep it a little more local. But I would absolutely avoid olive oil in something like this. You can also quite easily find coconut oil. That's pretty much everywhere these days. Got this from Home Bargains, I believe, organic coconut oil. So it's always nice to buy organic whenever you can, if you can afford it. And what you tend to find is a lot of places are actually stocking quite a decent amount of organic now. Lidl and Aldi are very good, and often sometimes it's not always the most expensive option. But coconut oil is a good one to use as well. So I'm going to wait for that to get really nice and hot. and then I'll start to add the veg. What I can do now as well is take a little bit of onion and just put it into the oil. Now I wanted that to start fizzing straight away. If it's not fizzing, it's not hot enough. As you can hear, that's starting to fizz quite nicely, so I'm going to start adding some veg. I'm going to add the carrot, the onion and the mushroom into that. I'm just going to let that boil, fry itself up a little bit before I start adding anything else into it. I'm going to also add a little bit of garlic now. You can add that into the paste. That works really well. Often I do, not always. Sometimes I do. More often than not I do. But actually, funnily enough, I forgot to put it in just like at the event the other time. So just stir that around just so it's all nicely coated. Put the lid on that. Now I'm going to add the coconut milk and the lime leaf that we had in there from earlier. It's a good idea to add the coconut milk in nice and early, because what I found over my years of doing this is that if you add the coconut milk in a little bit late, it just waters down all the other flavours and just makes everything taste a little bland. So now I'm going to add the paste right on top of that coconut milk. Sorry if anyone doesn't like the sound of scraping. I'm just going to stir that through. So that paste is nice and dissolved all the way through the coconut. The thing that gives a Thai curry its colour is the chilli. So the more of a particular colour chilli you add, the more colour it gets. So green chillies make a green curry, red chillies make a red curry. If you want to make it yellow, you can add some turmeric in there. If you want to make it more red, you can always use a red onion. Or you can even add some tomato puree on the top of that as well. I've just added some water into the pestle and mortar, and into the bowl from the blender as well. And just add that into there as well. Makes it easier to clean, and also you might as well use the flavour that's imparted into that. Until it's open, I'll give it a nice stir. Getting a real good coconut smell off of that now. Starting to come, coconut and lime is the dominant smell from there right now. While that's open as well, I'm going to add the courgette and the red pepper. What I tend to like is having a balance of colours. Got a lot of green in this one, so it would have been nice to have another couple of different colours in there, but it's okay. I'm working with what I've got in the fridge right now. Stir that through. The majority of Thai cooking really is in the preparation of the paste. The rest is really fast. So in 5 minutes, about 5 minutes, this will be done, 5 to 7 minutes or so. But it is very, very important, always when you're cooking, is to taste it, see what it's like. That's the ultimate test of whether you've made a good meal. So taste it throughout. The coconut, got the spice, got the sweetness. Could probably do with a little bit more of the salty. But what I'm going to do is test my new find or new donation, add a little bit of that in there and see how that works before I add the soy sauce. And stir that through, make sure that's all the way through now. So now that's bubbling away nice. I've turned the heat down a little bit, it was boiling quite fierce. So you want it on a bit of a rolling simmer now. So I'm going to add the rest of the cabbage there. I've also chopped some tomato up because I wanted a bit more colour, like I say, so the tomato will give it a nice little lift. Red and green, complementary colours, they look really good together. And I've also chopped another clove of garlic, so that can go in too. There is no limit on garlic at all. So I'll put that in there, stir it through. And then once that is cooked, you'll see the cabbage go a really nice vibrant green, and once that's cooked through, I'll let it cool just a little bit, and just so it's not like scalding hot. It's always good to leave it to cool a little bit, because that allows the flavours to mellow out a little bit and also work together. And while I'm here, I'll test the rice. Rice is good. Now, I always tend to find brown rice never tastes cooked, even when it is, but it's good. Always a little bit hard, but still tasty. Always taste. That's good. Getting the lime, getting the spice, getting the sweet. Again, I think it just needs a little bit more salt. That fish sauce didn't quite manage it. Just another quick dash of that. Not too much. Don't want to overpower it. I could also, that coconut milk, like I said, has suppressed that chilli a little bit. So it could also go a little bit spicier. So I might just top it off with a little bit of this, just for fun. So this is readily available from any supermarket. If you can ever find galangal, always buy that, because that's a Thai staple, but it's quite hard to find these days. It's a root very much like ginger, but a little bit, the taste is different. It's got a nice fragrant sweetness to it. It's really good, really nice stuff. I'm just going to let that simmer, and we're about done. So there you are, that's Thai sauce, or Thai curry. 45 minutes and you can be done. If you have everything prepared, 45 minutes to an hour, it's ready. So just to recap, the main things that you need to do is have a balance of salt, sour, sweet and spice, the 4 S's. Start with your paste. The paste is where your time should really be spent. The more time spent on the paste, the tastier it all is, believe me. You want to be using tamari or soy sauce, fish sauce, vegetarian fish sauce if you can get it, or if you're a meat eater, then use fish sauce. Shallots or any other type of onion is going to form your base. Chillies, ginger, garlic, and just experiment with it. What you can also do once you've become confident with that is start trying to dominate one flavour. So ginger and soy is a really good combination and quite authentic. You can, if you've ever had a tom yum soup, then try that. That's quite a sour soup and really, really good. You can buy the paste from the Chinese supermarkets as well. Really tasty stuff. I urge you to go and try that. And I think that's about as much as I need to say. So if you do have any questions, or you would like a bit more information about anything that I've said today, or if you want any help or advice, then please feel free to get in touch with me. You can do that through the community fridge. My email address is chris@transitionsterling.org.uk. If you want to contact me direct, I'm always happy to talk food. Thank you.